Browns draft class, NFL executives on a couple players in that. This from The Athletic. Their first pick, Michael Hall Jr., prototype who fits Jim Schwartz's defense as a twitchy upfield penetrator. If they can motivate him and get him playing down in, down out, the will fit the well. It will fit well for Schwartz's defense. And keep in mind, kid's 20. Michigan guard Zach Zinter is good for where they got him if you're comfortable with the medical. They were a playoff team, so adding players you can win with, not because of, is what you're looking for in this draft. I think, you got to remember, Michael Hall isn't 21 years old yet. So anything you're talking about, motivation and even size, let the kid grow a little bit.
Yeah, look, I forget. I talk to so many people who do Browns content. I'll give Quincy Carrier, I'll give him the credit for it since I just talked to him last. So, Mike Hall Jr. is a guy who's 20 years old. In 2 or 3 years, you could have potentially seen, if he stayed in college, Mike Hall Jr. could have potentially been a top 10 player in the draft. It would not have been like an over-exaggeration to say his progression, a couple of more years, you could see a guy who's 22 years old that is playing at a certain level and being a top 10 player in the draft. And he certainly could have done that. If the Browns even overdrafted him a little bit, the way the defensive tackle board fell to him, that's okay, because he has the traits and the tendencies that you want out of the guy that's going to play 3 technique. Those are guys that are going to – it's no longer – you're not going to have 2 big guys like, Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa or, even 2 guys like Dalvin Tomlinson inside. He gives you a more sleeker body, a more sleek, streamlined guy that can get off the football. He has a quick burst. He has a guy that is more like a defensive end body type than a defensive tackle. And one thing that is invaluable is getting push and pass rush inside. Mo Hurst does it pretty well. Shelby Harris gives you that. They brought in Quentin Jefferson, but those guys are on 1-year deals, right? They had Jordan Elliott inside a little bit. They moved on from him. So you're going to get a guy who is going to have those characteristics that I think are going to play for you on some of these downs, especially in pass rushing opportunities as the season goes over. Zach Zinter, you know what the Browns like to do. They like to have guys that can really maul in the middle. He's a guy, consensus All-American in 2023, consensus All-American, 2-time All-First-Team All-Big Ten at guard at Michigan. And one thing that you give about Michigan, what they've been able to do to beat Ohio State, is dominate in the trenches. They were able to run the ball with Blake Corum. If it wasn't for the broken leg, I think that he sneaks into the early second, maybe even late first round as a guard. You get him in the 3rd round, and now you have an opportunity to reset your guard positions either with Bitonio or Teller. So to me, I like the pick. Now you got Whippler, you got him at guard. Now you're starting to have DeJuan Jones, and now you're recycling and getting younger up front. So I like the pick. And if you got to play him this year, if somebody get hurt, I like to have him better than somebody as an undrafted free agent or somebody coming off the street.
Yeah, I like the Zinter pick as well.